Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject som känner konsultata konsulterina. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey there. Thank you for tuning in to Wanna Bet. Thank you for bearing with us. Our friends at Odyssey are helping. It's not really us. It's Beltway Ben, because he knows how to pull all the levers and make all this actually happen. Helping us take this whole thing to another level and how it looks, how it sounds, how we're going to be able to interact with people, graphics, everything. So we appreciate their time the last hour or so, walking us through some things, and we are definitely excited about the future of the show. If you're new to the show, we do this 7 days a week. We give you our 3 favorite plays in this moment: first, second, third down. Fourth and long is really fourth and short. Some quick hitters to try to get you guys paid quickly, like in the first half of the Bayern Munich match yesterday. And overtime, it's football season. We've got football parlays every single day. We're also fully transparent here. And we show you how we did. So, Beltway Ben, how did we do yesterday? Not too shabby. Look, I'd make that bet on the Guardians 10 times over. That game was a pick'em. They were going to make Scooble field his position and scratch out a run against him. Like I told you guys, we had that game pegged. Gavin Williams was not going to give up anything. Both teams would struggle to score runs. The Guardians booted a ball in right field. The first baseman couldn't get his foot on the bag, and Ramirez ran himself into an out at home plate. Despite all that, they still almost won. So I would make that bet over and over and over again. Those two teams playing in that setting at that price. Champions League, we're crushing it. Bayern Munich, guess who's going in the Hall of Fame, Beltway Ben? Bayern Munich and hat-trick Harry Kane. They come through again. Look like you cleaned up as well, Beltway Ben.
Yeah, pretty good day. We hit both of those props. Did lose the Manny Machado single. He hits the ball 108 in the first inning, line out to third. That would have been a single to left. But yeah, it was a solid day. Bregman comes through late in the game. I was a little worried early on. He gets a first hit of the game, has a single to right. And usually when it's been a few times this year, we've played hits, runs, RBIs. The guy gets a single in the first inning and goes on to go hitless. That's where it looked like he did walk. They couldn't drive him in, but he came through with a nice double that gave them some insurance, because I think the Yankees may have played things a little different if they're down 1, not 2 there in the 9th.
And there's a ton of winning bets that aren't up there because we do this every day, like the Bayern Munich plus 150 same game parlay, half full, Harry Kane anytime goal, over 2.5 goals scored by the boys from Munich. We also told you play Atletico Frankfurt over 3.5 goals. Hey, we said sprinkle on 3-1. Sorry, it was 5-1. The fourth goal should have never got in short side. The fifth one was a questionable penalty at the very end. Very excited to get to today's games. Super Discord has all of our picks as we make them in real time, along with our buddy Eric Casillas and some other professional handicappers. And Beltway Ben, you have the floor for first down.
Yeah, first down here, we will go to another prop in the MLB, one that I like here, and it's Jazz Chisholm over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and plus 140. Really, really, really like the odds here. When you can get this type of number, given the situation, I will play it anytime I get a chance. Now, we're going to get plus money on a lot of hits, runs, RBIs. In the playoffs, just good pitching. You'll go lefty-lefty matchups a lot more here. But Jazz is 4 for 9 against Bayo with a home run. He's one of the guys in the Yankees lineup that has been able to get to him. And when you look at Jazz, his numbers overall, against right-handed pitching at home is where Chisholm has done all of his damage this year. Doesn't hit for a lot of average, doesn't do a lot of things, but he does slug there. 575. It's the short porch. The Yankees chase home runs. If he gets on with a single or whatever, we always have the possibility that he can get us, scored on a home run. He's going to hit 5th, 6th, somewhere around there. He's frustrated that he didn't play on Tuesday. I get it. I agree with everybody arguing it. I mean, analytics. Ben Rice and Jazz Chisholm not being in the lineup is still just stupid. But that's how teams go nowadays in the MLB. Less feel, more analytics. It's a big-time matchup. I do think Jazz Chisholm comes through here.
If you're in the Discord, we were on the Red Sox at plus money yesterday. I might like them again today. First down, we got to do this one quickly. It's kicking off in about 15 minutes in Azerbaijan. If you watch the show, you know we've been on FC Copenhagen since early in Champions League qualifying. They're scoring, they're conceding. Historically, their home form in the Champions League, run-ups, Champions League qualifiers, have not been able to get results on the road. Have I played this, both teams to score and Copenhagen on the double, which means Copenhagen to win or draw? I have. For these purposes, though, we're playing both teams to score. Qarabağ, I'm not going to tell you I know a ton about them, but if you study them at all, they are generally good for at least a goal at home. This is a step up in weight class for both these teams. But I like this Copenhagen side. I think they're going to fare better in Champions League proper than a lot of people expect. And we've seen generally these matches get a little goofy and get a little loose in Champions League. Would not surprise me if we get over 2.5 goals in this match. And I do think Copenhagen can get an elusive road result here. But I think they're going to have to score at least once to get it. Second down, Ben.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the first baseball game of the day. J-Ram over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, minus 125. Anybody who has his prop as it is, I feel bad for you. Sorry. Yesterday, because he gets the third after a single and does not score with no outs.
Shouldn't have taken off for home plate there.
Pretty, yeah, but they still wouldn't have scored. That would have been out to it first because there was one out.
Yeah, but you would have a chance to still get
but they made the last out still after that.
Yeah,
the third out was J-Ram again. If you had his prop, I'm sorry, strikeout, whatever the ground out is, and then it's tough for Guardians fans. It was tough for the Guardians in general, but I do think J-Ram comes through today. Casey Mize, 5 for 10 with 2 home runs off of him. J-Ram has a lot of pop against right-handed pitching at home. When you look at his splits, on the road, he's really good against lefties. At home, he's really good against righties. Weird thing, but that's how it is for him. I like him over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 125. I don't see one of the best hitters in baseball going under this in 2 playoff games.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Guardians scrapped that thing together today. Second down, we are going to continue to fade the Citizens. I think Man City is not the side some would say. And if you're watching this Champions League closely, a lot of the heavily favored EPL sides have not been overly impressive. Liverpool, Chelsea, I'm looking at you. Man City got over on Napoli because there was a 20th minute red card in that game 2 weeks ago. I like the way Monaco's playing. I think they're in a rich vein of form. I really like them at home here. I think they get a result. Like, have I sprinkled on Monaco to win or draw plus 160? I have. Here we're covering our backside. If they, lose by a goal, we push the bet. Again, I think they have a lot of potential to score early in this match and hold off Man City. At least for a draw, I could see 2-2 or something like that. I just have not been overly impressed with Man City. And if you look at who they've done the damage again, Napoli aside, and again, that was with 10 men the whole match, even the way they're playing domestically, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not buying it. And I think this is another spot where the betting markets overvalue a Premiership side. Third down, Beltway, Ben.
Third down, we're going to go to the NFL, and not tomorrow's game. We're going to go to Sunday, and we're taking a little bit of a plus money play here. The Denver Broncos on the money line in Philadelphia. Philly's due for a loss. We saw their comeback against the Rams. I think we know who was the better team there. The Rams just really took their foot off the gas, and things went sideways a little bit. I still think the Rams are the better team. I think Denver is going to give them issues. Philly does not have any issues with soft teams they can push around. And there's good teams. I mean, we saw with the Ravens last year. Ravens were a good team, but the Ravens were a little soft. The Ravens weren't big up front, and we saw what Philly was able to do to them. That's how they can do things. Denver is physical. Denver is tough. Denver will be able to push back a little bit, and their defense is going to give Philadelphia issues. I fully believe that. I think Denver gets after Jalen Hurts when they need to. They're fine with QB contained. They don't let him run a lot. And it'll be interesting to see, again, at plus 166 for a team who's underachieved. I think we can all agree on to this point in the season. Like, this is get right for them, and this is also Philly finally losing a game. I don't know that they start the season 10-0. It could be like Kansas City last year or whatever, but to me, I just think Denver is too good of a team. And I like 4.5 felt way too high. I was just going to give out the spread, which I also like. You can mark that down as a play too, regular play. But money plus 166. I get it's on the road. I get it's in a tough environment, and these teams have played, a little bit differently than expected. But I don't know. I just think Denver is physical enough to get the job done. Sean Payton has won in these environments, and they're really counting on Bo Nix to turn it up. And I know the defense for Cincinnati is awful, but he did look good, and he did look comfortable throwing the football down the field. He did look good moving out of the pocket, making plays. So Philly's also banged up a little bit. So I like Denver on the money line here.
Third down, we are sticking with the Napoli side and a manager in Conti who we respect. I thought Napoli was undervalued in the betting markets overall if you studied the futures markets before Champions League kicked off. This is a side that was, the class of Serie A last year. I like the way they came into the season this year. They lose to Man City because they go down 10 early. And they lose to AC Milan. How about Christian Pulisic showing up? He shows up for club, not so much for country. And they need a result here. They are impenetrable at home. They have not lost at home in the calendar year 2025. Maybe they weren't a magic carpet ride. Maybe they needed to be humbled a little bit. But the goals they conceded against Man City will weigh heavily on their minds today. I just don't think Sporting Lisbon is in their class. I think Conti will have them fired up to play. I bet you De Bruyne has a really nice match for Napoli in his home Champions League debut for them. I just think they're of a higher quality. We're protecting ourselves here a little bit. If obviously they win by one, we push. I think they're going to win this match by more than one goal. I think you're going to see attacking flair for them. So that's where we are. Conti at home in a big spot. I like them. Fourth and short Beltway, Ben.
Trying to think of if I'd classify it as short, long, whatever. I think this is a different prop here. I just wanted to fit it in fourth and long, fourth and short, however we do it. I'm going to take the Phoenix Mercury to win the WNBA Finals at plus 120. Wow. We took the Lynx with like 10 games left in the regular season. I still think they're in a good spot if Collier doesn't get hurt late in that game. But they lose to the Mercury, who, quite honestly, are playing very good basketball right now. You have Copper playing very well, and it's going to be important for her to show up here. You have Satsu Sabali, who has also been great. She's shooting the ball well. I think this is going to be a big series for her. And then the AT, Alyssa Thomas. There's not many players in the WNBA that do more than her in general, right? She triple-double. She does a lot of different things well. I don't like what I've seen from the Aces. They do have the best player in the WNBA, I get that, and that always offsets a lot of things. They didn't play well against Atlanta, and that's when last night, I was watching that one very close. Look at the situation. Boston fouls out with like 3 or 4 minutes to go. Caitlin Clark was still out. Cunningham was still out. Kelsey Mitchell gets hurt in the third quarter. They storm back to force that to overtime. And even then, Vegas would get a stop in a bucket, another one maybe, and go up 4. And here they come. They don't play any defense, give up another bucket, give up another bucket. Phoenix can defend a little bit. Phoenix can defend enough to slow down Las Vegas, and they can score. They can score with any of them. Bonner has given Phoenix a spark. She comes off the bench. She gives them whatever they need. She doesn't play a ton of minutes, right? 19, 20 minutes, but she's giving them good play when she's out there. They're finally healthy. When this big three plays, they're a serious problem. So I'm going to take Phoenix to win. I think the public's going to be all over Asia Wilson and the Aces as they always are, and I get it, right? We're betting against the WNBA MVP here. I don't love doing that, but again, when you look at both teams, the defense being played, the lack of depth for Las Vegas, I'm going to go with Phoenix.
Interesting. But with Ben, he's a WNBA guy. Maybe unrivaled. Maybe you're an unrivaled guy too.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll
they
see.
might be taking over the WNBA.
Could be. WNBA's got some issues, man.
Yeah.
Might need a new commissioner.
I think they will.
Fourth and short, we're going to the Nerfy market. Look, I'd like to find better value than this, but when you look at how the first 3 innings markets, which we do a lot of work in, are being priced, and it's 1.5 is the run total through 3, I'm going to go ahead and take the Nerfy here. Why do I like the Nerfy? Well, if you watch the show regularly, we've been on these teams with the Nerfy all year. Cleveland 90 and 72 to the Nerfy. Detroit 80 and 74 to the Nerfy in the regular season. Detroit on the road, real heavy to the Nerfy, 46 and 35. Tanner Bybee's been great. Slow start, but you look at what he's done against Detroit 1 earned run in 6, 1 earned run in 6, no earned runs in 7, 2 earned runs in 7. How does he start games? He starts games pretty damn well. Since July the 1st, he's had 15 starts. The slash line against Bybee in the first inning, his last 15 starts, 173, 271, 212. 2.4 ERA in the first inning since July 1st. Casey Mize tends to start games pretty well also. 28 starts this season, 1.93 ERA in the first inning. Both these teams scuffling at the plate. Do you worry about the long ball? You always worry about the long ball with the Nerfy. But again, it's been a pitching-heavy start to the playoffs outside of Dodger Stadium. And the first 5 and the first 3, the numbers are coming down. The full game, we're seeing 6s. And even the run that scored yesterday, if the right fielder fields a routine grounder, that's a Nerfy all day long in this series yesterday. So we are on the Nerfy, and you still got about 20 minutes before first pitch. Overtime, Beltway Ben.
Yes, overtime. We are going to go with a little parlay here in college football again. Notre Dame, I'll start with them. I don't see Notre Dame losing here, right? Boise State, they're not as bad as everybody thought they were after week 1 because South Florida is not a bad team, but I don't think they're great, and I think Notre Dame will walk right over them. Cincinnati, that's where it gets a little tricky. Cincinnati so far this year, 3-1, and their one loss was to Nebraska by 3 in Kansas City, a weird spot for week 1. Now they're playing Iowa State, who's ranked, and they are a favorite. Everybody is going to be running to bet Iowa State. Now, if you look at Iowa State, they beat Iowa in a 3-point game, and Iowa's fringe top 25 team. They're fine. Smoked Arizona this past week. Arizona's down. Ever since Fish left, they've been in trouble. And then they beat Kansas State in Ireland in a weird game. It was tight, and I think that game being tight, again, it's a weird situation. You have a conference game early in the year, the way it is, whatever you want to call it. It tells a little bit more about Iowa State now because Kansas State has just not been very good. And that was early in the year. They didn't have Edwards then because he got hurt on the first punt return. I think Cincinnati wins this game. They're home. They looked really, really good against Kansas. I was super impressed by what they had working offensively. We know Kansas isn't going to play a lot of defense, but to get a few stops that they did, to come up when they needed to, and they were able to outscore them, I don't think they'll have issues with Iowa State here. It's one of those weird spread games, as I said. Everybody, the public sees a favorite that's not ranked against a ranked opponent. They're going to run to bet the ranked opponent. How can I get them to plus money? Happens in college sports all the time. College basketball as well, and I attack it when I can. And here's a good spot, too. And I just put Notre Dame on it to basically get us right under plus money.
Yeah, Notre Dame is going to, I think, continue to unleash absolute opening cans of whip ass on people. They're playing for optics, right? They've got to overcome the slow start. If that secondary can just get it together a little bit, like if they can just get it, the quarterback's looking good. I buy the head coach. Yeah. The head coach should be able to tweak their schemes back there a little bit. Yes. They're dangerous.
Hey, you might see them on the show. Plus 125 tomorrow to make the playoff. I looked at it last night. I might fire it because they're good. They're better than people think.
Yeah. We're going to be on this Thursday night game a lot of different ways. And if you watch the show, we've been hammering Thursday and Monday Night Football. Look, Adams is the guy. He's kind of like what Demarcus Robinson used to be, what Cooper Kupp was early in his career before he became the full-throated number one. Like, there's designated red zone dudes in this offense, and it's Davante Adams. Like, Davante Adams has 9 red zone targets the last 3 games. Like, Puka Nakua's got like 3 all year. Like, Nakua might score explosives from the outside, or he might take an end around in. But the guy who's getting the box out plays, the high point plays, the use the sideline to your advantage, back shoulder fake, that's Davante Adams. And they keep him on a bit of a pitch count and save him for critical third down and red zone. And he's facing a defense here that gets no pass rush. No pass rush, especially with Bosa being hurt on a short week. Like, the Rams score through the air. The running backs have 2 rushing touchdowns all year. Stafford is going to be protected and comfortable here. I think the Rams have the better offense, defense, special teams, and head coach. I think they're going to win the game. They might even cover the number that keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I'm looking at their number 1 red zone guy in a pretty potent passing attack with a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback who's in really good form Oh, yeah. And remember when people used to say Shanahan owns McVay? McVay's beat him 3 straight times. And McVay has the healthier team on a short week. Yeah. I think San Francisco is being exposed. I think they're going to be further exposed here. And we're going to be on Puka Nacua in some different ways. But we got Adams getting 6 targets a game. Adams getting the preponderance of red zone looks against a secondary that isn't special and a pass rush that's looking pretty non-existent. Yeah. If Trevor Lawrence was any good, he would absolutely carve them up last week. Stafford's pretty good. So that's where we are. Real quick, I just wanted to thank everybody in Munich again for continuing to cash. Luis Diaz, I don't know why he got subbed off at the half. Maybe he picked up a nick. He had a chance at a sitter. Like, we should have probably cashed that one too. Bayern Munich overs, people. They're printing money. Die Bundesliga! Beltway Ben, let everybody know how we did yesterday. It's not even all of our wins. We can't fit all of our wins up there. When we get all this new stuff from Odyssey, when we have all our new graphics packages and everything built, you'll be able to see it in all its beauty and grandeur. Again, all our picks in real time on the Super Discord. Tomorrow, I think, is back to totally normal, right, Ben? We don't have any extra Zooms. We don't have any production meetings.
No, yeah, I think we're good for regular.
Tomorrow, I think we're good for noon. Saturday's going to be early because it's family weekend at College Park, and I'll be heading out to University of Maryland early. So it looks like Saturday's probably going to be around 9:30. But if you guys subscribe, right? Subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. You're going to be able to consume it whenever you want it. Of course, you want it.
And you don't need to wake up. You don't need to wake up at 9:30 if you like to sleep in
No.
on a Saturday. Wake up at 10:30 and put it on whatever you want to put it on.
Now, look, for some of these, especially with playoff baseball and Champions League, you don't want to wait too long and miss a bet. You don't want to hear, oh, wow, that was a great bet. Oh, it's 45 minutes ago. I can't get it anymore. That game started. But, yeah, look, we appreciate your guys' support. The show is only going to continue to get bigger and better. Again, all the info on how to get all our picks in real time on the Super Discord. We will see you tomorrow at noon. Enjoy the games. You want to bet, we want to bet. Thank you for wanting to bet with us.